Welcome to Meet My Mutual with Sarah and Ava. Pour some wine, light a joint, or don't, and meet my mutual.
Yes, I too am annoyed.
Yeah, I'm really annoyed. Like, fuck Mark Zuckerberg.
So basically, we try to promote at least one of our posts like every time we have a new episode. So that's what we did this time with Ashley's episode that you should all go listen to if you haven't listened to it yet. But it got rejected because according to Facebook's stupid rules, it says it's like promoting a sex product, or what did it say? It was something like you can't promote a sex product other than contraceptives, which it's not promoting a product. It's promoting a conversation about sex.
Basically, they said that we couldn't promote our clip that we posted recently because it had the words like sex in it, and she's in a bra, and you can't have nudity, and you can't sell sex products. Whatever. And like, it doesn't make sense. And now that I told a human to review it, they're like, oh yeah, that's fine.
But I did that earlier and it didn't. So. I don't understand this. I'm just mad because for years, Mark Zuckerberg hasn't given a shit about Russia and fucking crazy people online, but women talking about enjoying sex is a problem.
He looks like Jared Kushner now. Like they have the same plastic surgeon.
Yes. Bad Botox.
And something else. Like they both look like they've had the soul sucked out of them.
Absolutely. That's what happens when you live for capitalism. Anyways.
But yeah, so fuck the man. I'm pissed. Like, I feel, and then like on top of that, they don't let you do a fucking swipe up on your stories unless you have 10,000 followers.
I know, that's another thing. I don't understand the logic behind that either.
Like, how many small businesses have 10,000 followers? Zero.
Right.
That's why they're a small business.
And like, I just get such mixed messaging because I literally saw an ad on streaming, I think it was on Hulu the other day, for Facebook and Instagram being like, we support you. And it was like sharing like influencers and telling your story and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, you can't be promoting this and telling people to like become an influencer and then only give the access to the good stuff to the large influencers and people with large followings. Like it just doesn't make any sense. And yeah, like you said, small businesses, fuck them.
It's like people promote ideas that they don't actually support in practice, which is not a new concept at all. But did you see that video I shared on my story yesterday about Savage X Fenty, like Rihanna's lingerie line?
I don't think I did, no.
It's something that I've noticed too, but it was just like how Rihanna, and this is I don't want to say this is no shade to Rihanna, but like this is a little bit of shade.
Wait, I was just thinking about I think what you're going to say. I was thinking about this today. Anyways, continue.
She promotes like, all bodies deserve to have lingerie and be sexy and blah, blah, blah. But if you go and like, she has like beautiful fat models and stuff in her shows who are the ones usually dancing, not walking the runway. But if you go to their website, it's all smaller bodies, light skinned bodies. Like you cannot find a single model that she paid that's not like an influencer that they use like influencer marketing to put on their website, who has like a belly or stretch marks or like anything. Like it's all this idealized type of body.
So it's like they use them for their campaign shoots and they use them for influencer content, but then they're not selling the product via those people, right? Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. And there's so little stock in the larger sizes and there's fewer styles. Like I don't buy those clothes because like I bought them to try them out. And like, to be honest, like they didn't fit that great. And there was just so few options. I was like, I can find a cheaper, better, like, more variety than this.
But also like, is the product sustainably made? Like, is it just fast fashion? I don't know. I was just thinking about it all and I'm like, maybe I need to like research this.
I think it's just another case of like, you should never put a celebrity on a pedestal situation because she's not perfect by any means. And I'm sure she's a lovely person. I love her music. And I love her as a person, but like as a business, it's got overhyped.
Definitely. Well, yes and no, because like you said, they're not necessarily practicing it in that way, but as an overall industry standard, they have caused a lot of change in in the
Oh
beauty
yeah, totally.
industry and in, like you said, like lingerie. I mean, hopefully. I know that Victoria's Secret definitely didn't have plus models until Fenty started doing it. And a lot of brands in the makeup world started like stocking more variety of foundation shades
Yeah.
since she started doing it. So like that's good. But yeah, you're right. There's definitely still room for growth.
She clearly built her brand around inclusivity, but it's not being practiced on
Mm-hmm.
her website. Like I shouldn't have to scroll to the bottom of the search page to see one person who kind of looks like me
Yeah.
when you're telling me in your ads that there's plenty of options. It doesn't make any sense.
I will say, even I'm like, not plus size, but she had a good sale going on for Cyber Monday, and I was excited. I was like, "Ooh, I want to finally try these products," and they were sold out of like all of my sizes. So I don't know if that's just their thing,
Yeah.
like they just don't stock. Maybe it's like a marketing tactic to kind of have the element of desire. You keep going back because it's always low stock, but it's annoying. Like I just want to try the product.
Yeah. Or like, I mean, I don't know. I don't think so for your sizes, but it'll always say like extended size is coming soon.
Oh
It's
my
like,
gosh.
it's been how many years?
Yeah, seriously. Huh.
And stop calling it extended sizes. Like your size range should be your size
It's a
range. It shouldn't
size.
be like a special thing that like
Mhm.
we have to look out for.
Especially because, as you told me, isn't the average woman size 16, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's not an extended, like abnormal size. That's like most people.
That's the largest size I've seen a model on their website. Like maybe an 18, maybe, but like no.
Wow.
But yeah, I'm angry today.
I know. It's a moody Monday.
It is a moody Monday. It's a moody mutual Monday.
It is.
I'm excited to talk to our guest today. Speaking of models, and like our next guest is a petite model, and I'm really excited to talk to her because I know nothing about the petite modeling world.
I know. And she's worked with a ton of like very well-known brands. So I think she'll have some cool stories and insight into a lot of the things that we are curious about.
So, on that note,
thanks for listening to us ramble.
And enjoy.
Bye.
Welcome to the pod.
It's so good to be here. I'm glad that we fixed the technical difficulties.
Yes. So our listeners already know that you're a model, but if you could just introduce yourself and tell us where you're from and where you're based now and what you do.
My name is Cheryl Pico. I am based in New York City. I was born and raised here. And I'm a petite model with State Management.
How long have you been modeling, and like what was the process like for you as a petite woman to get signed?
I've been modeling since I would say like 2017. Like I was signed. And I honestly did not expect to get signed. I didn't see like petite models on like the boards and stuff when I was like submitting myself.
Right.
And I made my brother take a picture, and I'm like, take a picture of me. So he took like the most crooked like body shots of me, and it was like awkward because it's like my brother. And I'm just like standing.
If it makes you feel better as someone who went through model submissions for castings, that's like, or for agencies, that's like the least ridiculous out of the ones we've seen.
Really?
Dude, people would pass their phone to like show us their digital submissions or whatever, and they would have their nudes like in there. Like, so they wouldn't like create a separate folder.
Ooh.
Wait, and, like unintentional nudes?
No, like intentional like vagina photos.
No.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Like when I say unintentional, like they weren't putting them in there to be like, this is what I look like naked.
Well,
like
they
weren't literally there.
No, like it was literally like a coochie shot, like
personal. Oh my god.
That's what I want to know.
It was like because they were giving us their camera roll, and I was like, why do you have your like casting call pictures mixed in with your nudes?
Yeah, organize yourself.
But anyways.
Well, did those pictures that your brother took, did they work? Did they get you signed?
Yeah, so I submitted them to like all of the agencies that I could find on like the New York ones, and I got it. Well, back when it was MSA, I got like an email from Barbie, and she like wanted to see me in person, and I was like flipping out. I was like, this has to be like a scam or something. Like, there's no way that they could possibly be like calling me back. I was like, these pictures, like I didn't expect, to get like an email back or anything. I was just like, you know what, like, screw it, let me just do it. Because I remember before that, I was seeing like this like agent at this other one called like MMG. They wanted me to like pay for like professional shots, and it was like 1,500, and I was like dead broke. I was like, I gotta be honest, like I can't pay that, you know?
Yeah.
No, you can do free test shoots, like.
Right. And the guy was just like, yeah, that's like what the rates usually are. Like, I'm sorry, but, and I was just like, okay, I guess I'll find a different way, or it's not for me.
Yeah.
So,
good for you for realizing that, though, that was like a scam.
Yeah, like, first of all, I couldn't like, I literally couldn't pay for it. It was like, I had just dropped out of college, and I was just like trying to find my way. And I was just like, yeah, I'm like dead broke. I can't.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm trying to model so I can have money.
Right. Like, it's like a catch-22. Like, I need to model to make money, but I need money to model. So it's like.
So is that what inspired you to model? Or did you just think, like, I'll just try this? Like, what inspired you?
Well, ever since I was like 13, like 15 or something like that, I was in like the 9th grade, and I just remembered how beautiful like all those Victoria's Secret models were, and I was just like, I would love to feel that beautiful and confident about myself. So that's really what inspired me, like their confidence, because I at that age lacked so much confidence. So like I was really striving to feel beautiful, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's what was motivating, like seeing them and how comfortable they were in their bodies and in their own skin.
Yeah. So who were some other people that you looked up to in the media when you were growing up?
Well, you know, as like a petite Latina, I didn't really see much representation. So I guess I would see somebody like J-Lo and be like, wow, like she's Latina and she made it. I saw Sofia Vergara, she made it. She's literally from like the same town I'm from in Colombia.
Oh, that's cool.
And Shakira, also from the same town.
Damn, it's a sign.
Yeah.
But there were like no petite models, right, at that time, like growing up. I can't think of any.
I think the one that I really like, Kate Moss, she was like, they like would put her as 5'8", but she's actually like 5'6" or something. So I'm just like, oh, she's like my height. Made it.
Yeah.
But also she's white, so it was like kind of the same because of the height, but not because I felt like I related to her, you know.
So in addition to like just not being represented in the media, what are just general challenges in the petite industry that you face like on a day-to-day basis?
It's kind of hard being the only petite model in the room because people look at you like, what are you doing here? Like, especially like the tall, lanky white models would look at me like, are you lost? Like, they wouldn't like say anything, but you know, they would give me that look, and I would be like maybe I am lost. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm like the only one that looks different here. Like, what's?
But you're just as worthy to be there.
Like, sometimes I would be like the only Latina. So on top of being the only petite, the only Latina there. So I would be like, they probably look at me like I'm the only ghetto one here. I would show up in like hoop earrings and like boots. Like, I have to wear heels at a casting. Like, I can't not wear heels at a casting. So that's like one factor where it's just like kind of annoying. Like, I feel like I have to do the most just to show up.
Was there ever a time that you felt like quitting modeling altogether? And like, if so, what stopped you?
Okay, so the first year I was like really like hopeful and like, oh my God, like I'm gonna get like huge jobs, this and that. Like, I'm finally gonna get recognized. And then that didn't really go as planned. Not that many people wanted petite models. I would be the exception, you know. Like, I'd be like, okay, like we're hiring you because you're pretty, not because like you're exactly what we want.
It's so fucked up. I mean, it's great to book beauty brands, but damn, that's like so annoying.
Yeah, it's good that I actually like doing beauty things. I mean, if I didn't, I would just have to like kind of accept it, I guess. But
yeah. So we did have a listener question. We had some listeners write in, and one of them was, I'm petite and I want to model, but I'm afraid of my height holding me back. Do you have any advice?
I think when you show up and you feel 5'9" in your head and you show up with that confidence, even if you're faking it, trust me, they'll notice. They'll notice if you're like, I'm here, like, and you demand the attention. I feel like then they see that and they're like, okay, like she has something in her, like, because models have to remember that clients need them, like, you know. So if you show up and you show up as the person that they're looking for with that attitude, then that makes a huge difference than just showing up like, oh, I know that I'm little, you know, like.
Yeah, confidence is like half of it. We had another listener question that said, I've heard rumors of petite models making less than tall models for the same brand. Have you found this to be true?
I don't really think that that's happened to me personally. Yeah, maybe to other people because, you know, I'm just one person.
Is it like PC to talk amongst other models though about what you guys make for the same job? Do you do that?
Not for me. I mean, I don't see what the big deal is. But personally, I don't really mind talking about money. I'm like, girl, how much are they paying you? Like,
I feel like it's important sometimes to talk about how much people make just in like any work setting, because that's how companies suppress other people getting paid less, is by making it seem like, oh, it's like hush hush, like you shouldn't be talking about it, you know?
Yeah, and I do find that my fellow models of color and I have been more like open about those kind of things because I feel like we share similar issues regarding the industry. So I feel like we're more open to talk about those kind of things.
So going off of that, what sort of change do you wish to see in the industry from your perspective?
I want there to be actual equality. Like, I don't want to be categorized when a client looks on a site and they see the main board and it's all the same faces and they're all above 5'9", and I'm put in like this petite category and not easily found. Like they have to search for me. So I feel like that's not really equality, you know, like I would like to just be.
Yeah, like thrown into the mix, like not a whole separate situation.
Yeah. Ava and I were just talking about that earlier when we recorded our intro, where we were talking about Savage X Fenty and how like a lot of brands claim to be about equality and body representation, but then when you actually go to their site, you don't really see that. So I think it's a totally different thing to have equality rather than to be categorized or tokenized or whatever.
Yeah. And then like from the casting perspective, I just know that they'll send out stuff and they'll say, we want X, Y, and Z. And then, and one or two petite girls. And it's like, why can't they just be thrown in all together? Like, why does it have to be an additional step?
Right.
Yeah. What's weird to me most is when it's like something for beauty brands. Like, what does my height have anything
literally
to do with
like,
it's your face.
Like, you can't tell how tall I am by a picture of my face. Like,
you just see how hot, like
literally. How has, since you've been, so you said you've been in the industry now since 2017, have you seen it change over the years? Like, how has the petite industry specifically progressed or not progressed over the last few years?
So I have noticed, fortunately, some changes. I've seen a lot of petite models showing up. Now it's kind of like we're pushing into the mix.
Yeah, as you should be.
So what has being in this industry taught you about yourself?
It's taught me to not compare and that my worth has nothing to do with where I'm categorized. I'm still worth everything, even if I get pushed aside for something else, you know, that they might be looking for. That has nothing to do with me. That's the industry's problem and not my problem. I feel like rejection has made me stronger because there have been so many times where I know that somebody else has gotten the job because they don't have like strong Latina features like I do. They wanted something more
white.
Yeah. But I mean, I've had to learn to be sure of myself even when the industry is not sure of me.
That's like the hardest thing to do. Like
literally so hard.
I can't
like
imagine.
how do you not compare?
I mean, it's not something that you just get
Right.
over. Like it takes like every day you have to do it,
Mhm.
you know? Like it still happens to me.
Of course.
And I'm just like, oh, you didn't book me because I'm too Latina for them.
Do you ever see like jobs that you went for that you didn't get and see like who they cast and just been like, interesting?
Girl, I don't want to tell you the name brand or like client, but I went to one casting where I feel like they just had petite models and models of color there for show, because they made like the casting directors like Instagram or whatever, they made an Instagram post and literally it was all white models and they were all tall and lanky, you know, and it was just like all these beautiful girls today. And when I was there in line, I saw Black models, Latina models, like Indian models, and I'm just like, where are all of them?
Yeah, like you don't want to put that on your Instagram?
Gross.
Exactly. So I mean, I saw their hypocrisy there, and it was just kind of like I can't even say anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
I just had to like try and brush it off, but you know, at the end of the day, I'm just like, I go home and I'm just like, I know I'm not gonna get that job, and that sucks.
And then you wasted your time, you wasted money, you wasted a comp card or whatever you wasted that you pay for. Like,
and I remember that casting director dead ass asked me, "Are you that color year round?" I was like,
oh my God.
Like, are you serious right now?
I don't even know how to respond to that.
Ew, I would have like spit at her. That's disgusting.
He was like this like moody like gay guy, and I'm just like,
was he white?
Yeah. I'm like, you're lucky that this is a professional setting. Like, that is not right. I was so offended, bro. I was like,
he was probably like jealous that he couldn't have a nice skin tone and was pasty as shit.
I'm
but
like, are you mad that I'm like tan?
Sorry, but I'm olive.
You're like, I'm sorry, I glow.
You just gotta, I mean, yeah, you have to remember that like when you don't get a job for that reason, it has nothing to do with you and everything to do with those people and their own prejudices. But
when it happens to you, like the first few times, you're just like, is it me? Like, do they just like hate me? And it's like, no.
Right.
Also, like, what do you even say to a question like that? Like, do you want my skin to be this color year round? Like, what? That's so weird. What if you said, no, I get a lot darker? They'd be like, oh, yikes. Like, that's fucked up.
Right.
It's just weird. Well, on a more positive note, was there ever like a certain job or a client that you worked with that you were really proud of and you had one of those like, mama, I made it type of moments?
Yeah, for sure. I'm under an NDA right now, so I can't talk about the one that I'm really thinking about.
That's all right.
But there's one where I was just like, mama, I made it.
Yeah, good.
And also like Milk. Like before I was signed, I was doing like extra work and like odd jobs. Like I didn't want a real job because I had worked at.
You had your side hustles.
Yeah. So I was working at BeautyCon and Milk was there and they were like a fairly newish brand. And I was just like, oh my God, they're so cool. I love them. And they had like this like station and I was working with Clinique, like not Clinique. Well, one of those brands. Clarins, giving out like lip oils.
Oh, yeah.
So I saw Milk, and during my lunch break, I was like, fuck food. Like, they had this thing where you like could do like a casting for them. So I was like, fuck food. Like, I'm gonna use my lunch break to like do their casting. So I like went on the line, and I was looking beat up because I had woken up so early to get there super early to like set up and like do whatever. So I was like dry, like, and I did it anyway. And then I was just like, that looked good. And I was just like, I didn't get it. So I was just like, oh man, well, at least I did it, you know? So then fast forward, like 2018, I booked Milk, with State.
That's amazing.
I was just like, oh my God, like I finally did it. You know, like I came so far. And also the thing with Sephora, like the picture for KVD Vegan Beauty, I like actually got a picture like in stores in Sephora.
Yes, I saw that. Yeah.
I was too like happy to like shed tears. I was just more like proud of myself that like I couldn't stop smiling, and I was just like, so
that's me.
I hope you took a picture to document it.
Yeah, she said she posted it on her Instagram.
Oh, I missed it. Oh, yay.
Yeah.
I have to check that out.
We're there.
Sorry.
I was just like, I can't just not post about this.
Yeah.
I know. You looked amazing. Obviously. Do you have another listener question? Do you have any dream clients? Maybe they're listening to the podcast and they'll hear this.
Ooh.
I actually do want to work with Fenty, like Fenty Beauty.
Mm-hmm. You'd be perfect for that.
Like the Savage Fenty, because I'm just like, I want to break that barrier between petite only doing beauty. I am so tired of just being in a box, you know? And I want to break out of that and like do something like, like lingerie or like whatever, you know? But when it comes to like clients to work with, I think Glossier, I would love to do a campaign for them.
I can so see you doing that. You have such good skin.
I know. Oh my God, I started taking these pills. That
wait. Are these prescribed pills?
My skin was like not having it. Between like the masks and stress and everything, my skin was like, brr.
Yep, it's all here. The chin. Thank you, masks.
Right.
Gross.
Well, I'm gonna need some of those pills because
apparently they're like heart disease pills. But listen, they have a second use to them.
Okay, Cheryl.
My dermatologist was like, every woman that I've given these pills to loves them because it's like a diuretic, so it like flushes out your water weight and it makes your lashes and eyebrows grow and your hair grow, but your body hair.
Is this a miracle drug?
It makes my skin clear. Like, where have you been hiding this? I'm like actually mad at you right now.
Yeah, what?
So I'm gonna need your dermatologist phone number.
Dr. Brooks.
Hey.
Shout out.
Oh my God.
That's amazing.
So far, so good.
Well.
Yeah, right?
I totally agree, though. Like, I can see you in Glossier because you just naturally, like, you just glow. Just one of those people that just...
Yeah.
That's what they're all about. They want those naturally pretty people.
Last year, they had, like, these, like... on the side of like bus stops and like, you know, they had like those huge posters and I'm like, like I want like a billboard or something.
So cool. Yes, you deserve a billboard.
Oh, stop it.
I want a Cheryl Pico billboard.
Right?
I want it in Times Square.
Yes. Yo, that was like one of my biggest dreams. But ever since this pandemic, I'm just like, I'm gonna put that dream on the back burner. Like
that's a 2021 goal.
Right. Yikes.
Yeah.
You obviously are like super vocal about COVID and you were really good about sharing stuff about like the protests and stuff, and you're just really good at utilizing your voice. Like, what inspired you to use social media in that way? And have you received backlash?
Well, I figured who cares about a selfie when there are bigger issues going on? I wanted people to see like what was really important. And I'm not the type of person that is like, oh, who cares what's going on? Like, look how cute I look. You know, I'm just like,
oh, you're not shallow? Wow.
I'm just like, yo, like, this is crazy. Like, have you guys heard about this and that? And there have been some people in my DMs. Sometimes all you can do is accept that some people aren't going to change their mind about things and just encourage them to find out for themselves and not believe just anything that you hear, because as we all know, there's been a lot of like false info and like I miss when conspiracy theories were about aliens and not that somebody's grandmother didn't die from COVID. It was from something else, and it's just like, this is literally happening. Yeah. And also I like to be well informed, and I, literally can Google, like 2 seconds, you'll find all these like published,
credible studies.
Well, I was just going to say, that's the thing. Like, all these people are, I mean, I've certainly seen it. I'm sure you guys have too. Like, they're claiming, oh, well, I read this here, blah, blah, blah. I've seen tons of sources that say this. And it's like, just because there's plenty of sources that agree with you doesn't mean anything. Like, you really need to fact check that, check sources from all sides, even if it's not your opinion.
Check sources from scientists, fucking scientists who are working on this shit, like, to the bone and dedicated their whole life to this.
They like busted their asses working 24/7, no like breaks, And
I just want to put this out there for people who don't know. The vaccine went through the same trials and shit that any other medicine has to go through. They just forwent the cost because they had a lot more resources put into it.
They got a lot more funding.
Yeah. Fucking Dolly Parton donated $1 million. Like, that was just one funder.
What accelerates
because this is worst of the worst scenario.
Yeah, what accelerates the process is money. And
the reason it takes 5 years is because they don't have people sending them millions of dollars,
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It really is.
So, transitioning from that, this whole pandemic year, you've touched on this a little bit already. How have you changed how you use social media? And has it been more of an importance to your career since COVID hit?
So I've been like looking at threads for like therapy and like anxiety, and like I've been just like wanting to look at good content, and like I've been really filtering what I look at. Like, one of my favorite accounts is Janaya the Future, and like they always like talk about social issues, and they're like a huge activist, and I just love their page, and it's like positive things. Sometimes when I look at threads talking about anxiety, it makes me feel like I'm not alone, because your anxiety can lie to you and make you feel like you're the only one feeling this way, when in reality it's just not true.
Millions of people are feeling the exact same way. Yeah.
So it's nice to know that you're not alone when you're feeling alone.
Yeah, I feel like we've all, at least I've noticed on my feed, it's a lot more mental health oriented this year, which I'm really appreciative, because God knows we fucking need it. Like,
I know something that I just feel I can relate to. I posted like on my story or something, because if it helps somebody else, then that's amazing. I don't ever want anybody to feel like they are alone.
I posted something, I think it was for like suicide awareness, and I got like 3 replies from people saying I needed this. And it's like, if all it takes is one person to post that, like, imagine if everyone did it.
Do you know how happy that makes me? Yeah.
Like great. That's awesome. Like, I'll just keep sharing this kind of stuff because people like to see it, Like, I know I like to see it. Like, so it helps somebody else, and I mean, that can change somebody's whole day.
It can change their whole life. Yeah. I feel like we think everyone's just scrolling by, but like some of it's getting absorbed. Someone somewhere is absorbing what you're putting out there.
Yeah.
And I think that's helped me,
You're right. I feel like I do get more responses on things that are like mental health related, or just like little messages. It's crazy. Also, I feel like, I don't know if you guys did this, but I'm so overwhelmed with the news this year, obviously, and it's mostly bad news. And so my feed is very mental health focused, and also like a few of those positivity accounts, like Upworthy or the Good News, whatever those are. Like, just seeing like good stories, it's like a really nice reminder that not everything sucks, and this is all going to come to an end at some point. Yeah, you guys, you're not alone. And if any of you listening, or you two, ever need like anyone to talk to, obviously,
thanks, Sarah.
You're not alone. You're not.
Our DMs are open.
Truly.
Yeah.
So, transitioning, kind of unrelated, but I'm just curious because I don't know this part
on a happier note.
Yes. You are also an amazing singer and a music producer / engineer, right? So can you tell us like how that got started? Was music your first passion, or is it a recent thing for you?
Well, when I was growing up, I was like always in like the church choir. Like the only girls who really got to sing like solos were like the pastor's daughter, you know.
Ah,
So I was always like in the background. So I mean, I
nepotism.
just love to do it anyway. The thing is, I didn't really have people who really believed in me. Like I had like bad friends growing up
Oh,
Fuck
that
them.
like, didn't really like support me or whatever in the way that I needed, you know. Oh, I like you got this, like keep going at, you know. I didn't really have that. So for a while I didn't really take it seriously. But I went to school for sound engineering, like music engineering. And I found
okay.
that I love to like sound engineer music, like hearing something and making it sound good, making it sound like music is so satisfying to me.
Is that a really male-oriented space?
Oh yeah. I was like,
Really?
there were like 3 girls in my class, and the class was
Damn.
like 30 plus.
Wow.
And I'm like, nobody took me seriously. Like, I'm a model, and I'm in like the school. I would show up in like my little outfits and like with my makeup done, like, or like just after like a job. And people didn't take me seriously. Like the guys, they just thought that I was like some girl who was like gonna cheat her way
Just
to.
fucking around. Yeah.
Wait, so how does it work? Like what's the process? Do you just like mix beats? Like what do you do? Like how does it work to make a song come together?
I stray more into like the engineer side of it. So once you have like the tracks, you mix them, and then after you do the rough mix where you make it, you know, you put like the hi-hats here and like you know, kind of fix it up, you know, to roughly look like it's like an essay, you know.
That's so interesting to think of it that way.
You visualize the song,
so
and
cool.
you want it to be well-rounded.
Has to be so satisfying when you get it to like just put your headphones on, smoke a joint, and like listen to your music that you mix. Like that's awesome.
That's why like I'm so sad that I mean I've gotten really rusty because I haven't been like working in any studio, and I just know that I'm gonna have to like kind of brush up on it, like everything when I do get back.
I love that you've found all your passions recently, and like you're like finding out how to express them. I feel like so many people struggle. Like you're like, okay, I love to write, but like, what can I do with it? I love to make music, but how do I make music? And like, you found all of the ways to do it.
I feel like music is what brought it all together because I love to create. I love being creative. I love to listen to music. I love to sing. I love to write. I feel like it all kind of like, and I love art in general. Like I paint and I draw, you know, like it kind of all like, you need the visual part of it. You need like the writing part of it. You need like all of that to like be able to do that. And I do definitely like this year I was planning on taking piano lessons, strengthening my voice with vocal lessons. I wasn't able to do any of that. I mean, I will, you know, after this is over, I'm definitely like getting back. And
that's the attitude. You will.
Yeah. And I, you know, it's such a competitive field, music. And there's so many people so much younger doing more. And so it's hard not to compare yourself. But what's really important is that you love doing it. And I feel like that's really all that matters. Like if you're willing to do the work and do it because you love it and do it because you want to share. Like I want to share emotion, you know, like I want people to feel when I make something, and I kind of don't want to just make anything and like put it out there and it's like a whatever kind of like sucky track or whatever. I want to actually put love into it, you know, and I'm willing to wait to do that until I can do it in a way that really represents what I'm going for. I mean,
if you're gonna do it right. Yeah.
Well, and you were talking about, you know, struggling with anxiety and stuff too. Do you find that sometimes you channel that emotion through your music? Like, does that help you?
Oh yeah.
I would definitely do that if I had the talent.
I like to have alone time. Like, I feel like that's really important for me. And when I am, you know, I'm reflecting and I'm trying to channel and process my emotions. Because for so long when I didn't do that, it would always come out in negative ways. So I always make sure that I like sit and reflect and process the emotions that I've been feeling. And I often get inspired by doing that because I get to look within myself. And that's kind of like my form of meditation. And just like looking at, like, I don't know, I just like would take a drive somewhere and be thinking. And then I see like the sun like hits the tree in a certain way. And I'm just like, I think about how beautiful it is and like nature. And like, it just like, I just get inspired by those things too.
It all comes together.
That's so beautiful. You have a beautiful way of like looking at the world, and I love that. So, what was on your quarantine playlist?
I listen to like old R&B. Like I love like 70s music.
And same.
Honestly, before Fleetwood Mac got like popular and mainstream, which was so weird for me. Like I love Fleetwood Mac, so I would always listen to Stevie Nicks.
My boyfriend makes fun of me because I literally only listen to Fleetwood Mac songs. He's like, you need to branch out.
Oh my god! And then it got popular. I'm like, what is happening?
I know. Like my mom had the album on fucking record, and so I grew up listening to that. And then that TikTok came out, and now everybody's on it again. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, that was so weird for me. But I like listen to like 90s R&B all the time. Like one of my favorite. Like I started loving music. I was like growing up in the early 2000s, so like that's the kind of music that I was just like, oh my god, this is awesome. So I like often go back to that, and I'm like, it's comforting. Like you see, I'm just like, it's so comforting.
Yeah, you're.
Yeah, it's comforting listening to like that old R&B that initially like inspired me. Just like I just listen to a lot of old stuff, like Bob Marley, Bob Dylan, all the Bobs.
Bobs are great.
The Doobie Brothers.
Also on your social, you post like the most amazing makeup looks. I don't know if they're all professionally done or if you do your own makeup. But it seems like you're pretty into beauty. So I just want to know, girl to girl, is there like any products that you're liking right now?
Uoma Beauty, they have like,
I don't know if I know them.
They're like this black owned brand. So Uoma Beauty makes like these foundations. I don't really wear foundation. I wear more like concealer, but their concealer is bomb too. But their foundation has like, so for your different skin tone, they put in different ingredients. Like for lighter skin tones, tends to be more red, more dry. They put in like something for that. For medium, tends to be more oily, so they put something for that. And for darker, they like tend to be more oily too. So they like formulate for like the shades of like skin, which is like amazing.
That's cool.
That's so smart. And why is no one else doing that?
Yeah, I love them.
Love it.
This is Sarah's element. Sarah loves makeup.
Yes, I'm gonna buy them. I also have my makeup like right here.
I'll talk like for half an hour about just makeup and
yeah.
Wrapping up, because this was a great conversation. We have one last question. What is something that people might be surprised to learn about you?
I love really old movies and like I love really old music. So there's something romantic about learning about the past and like the history. And I love watching like really old black and white films and shows. I was really addicted to like the Dick Van Dyke Show for a time. And I love like the Twilight Zone and like all these like older movies that I guess you wouldn't think that, from my page that I'm like into that stuff.
She's an old soul.
I was about to say, you're an old soul.
I guess that's what it is. I am an old soul.
Well, can you tell our listeners like where they can find you on social, and if there's any last thing that you want to plug for yourself, like go right ahead.
So my Instagram is at Cheryl.Pico. That's Pico. And remember to lead with love and compassion. And remember that everyone in the world has their own world.
Thank you for listening to Meet My Mutual. We hope you enjoyed today's episode, and if you did, please be sure to like, rate, and subscribe to our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen, and be sure to tell your friends about us. We welcome you to connect with us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Meet My Mutual. Thank you so much for the support. We'll see you next time on Meet My Mutual.